say we're live, but something's going wrong.
There's no music.
Okay, people, there should be music. La la
La
la
la la la la.
Come on, everybody, sing along with us.
La 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 la. Great minds, of course, we both start singing at the same time. Excuse me, folks.
It was working when I tested it. Okay, and that should be me giving you an intro saying that we're talking about spiritual guides. Who are they? What do they do for us? And it's one of 3 talks that we're doing. Another one on Sunday and the third one a week tonight. Okay, folks, there you are. You've had our intro. So here we are, Mark and David.
So it's kind of a very odd intro, but hi.
We're a bit, let me rephrase that. I'm a bit disorganized today. We've had snow in Scotland where the clinic and my reading room is for 2 days. So we closed the clinic. I turned up today for the first day and was literally using a sledgehammer to break up the ice outside so the old dears of the patients wouldn't break their necks as they walked in. That was then followed by the computers not working and the payment system not working. So I spent the rest of the morning in catch-up mode. My mother was taken into hospital over Christmas, is now home. So basically, I'm now having to visit her 3 or 4 times a week. So left clinic late because it was filthy, had to be cleaned, all mud. Then drove to mother's. Hello, Mum. Bye-bye, Mum, because I've got to go somewhere else. And then here I came and stuffed my face with food. And Debbie's then reminding me that it's Wednesday and we've got this to do tonight.
We've got this to do. And of course, my husband's in the hospital and I was in an accident 2 days ago. So it's just not been the best of weeks.
Yeah. If we're not taking this as any kind of indication of what kind of year we're having, because to be honest,
absolutely not. This is the worst of it. We're getting it over ahead of time.
Getting all the bad news done and out of the way. Absolutely. Okay, so with that out of the way, and also StreamYard, that's the software company we use as the platform, have had a major reorganization. So whereas I used to know where everything was, now you're going to have to bear with me while I fumble around and try and find what I'm looking for.
Things, of course, because they just had to do it this week, right? Yeah,
absolutely.
So it's time for news.
Yeah, it's time for the big news. Right, so the most exciting bit, the bit that we've been talking about for almost 2 months, and I bet you the audio isn't going to work, but here we go. Let's have a look. Develop at your own pace. At marcstuartmedium training, we teach evidential, rapid-fire mediumship Scottish-style techniques that get results. No more begging for sitters. You'll have people coming to you for readings. Our AI advisor, Rain, will guide you, answer your questions and get you started. And let's be honest, in Scotland, rain is always on the way. AI is here, but it can never do what a medium does. It can't connect with spirit or deliver real evidence. That's why a mediumship business is more valuable than ever. Come to our 3 training session. We'll have you connected in just one go and leave you imagining where we can take you in 6 months. Fill in the form and Rain will contact you within minutes.
Ooh.
So the important bit there is, apart from the fact that we're now advertising again, Rain, that's the AI system, is working. Now, at the moment, the only way to access that is by finding the advert. Over the next week, we will make it available on all our websites from Facebook, and we'll basically, every time we're doing here, you'll have a nice little link that we'll put up that you can click. What does Rain do? It's very simple. Instead of us sitting here blabbering on about whatever we're talking about that particular week, you can click that button and you can ask Rain a question directly. Now, it's not the oracle of all knowledge. It's based on... Yeah.
It's based on our...
Well, that aside. But it's basically based on our teaching methodology, how to find us, how to book us, how to come along to a free training event like the ones that we hold after these streaming events. You can ask it questions about Mark. You can ask it questions about Devi. It may refuse to answer on the grounds that it might incriminate me. But apart from that, it's the place to be. Okay, now other bits of news. 1st of February, I am starting a new streaming event. We have covered this previously, but it's Cards with Mark. So you can stream into that. I'm planning on doing it once every fortnight. I might make it weekly, but to be honest, with the things that are going on just now, as I explained at the beginning, my life is getting extremely busy. And if we starting up the new training circles with what we're doing with the advertising, it's going to get even busier. But once a month minimum, possibly twice a week, I will give you a guided tour of one of my sets of cards, of which I have many. Not as many as I thought. I don't have 100.
Tarot cards, not playing cards. Yes.
Well, and oracle cards. There is a difference.
And tarot and oracle, yes.
Yeah, but remember, I don't use tarot cards as tarot. I use them as oracle cards. So, and I'll do readings. So, but it's going to be multi-camera. So you'll see the card, you'll see me, and if I can get the third camera working, I'm still working on that. You'll see me dealing with them as well. Okay, and there's a new streamed event I'm working on with my wife, and this one is going to be called Sunday Walks in Scotland with Mark and Ying. Ying's my wife, not Devi, just to avoid any confusion. I'm married to
I'm
Ying,
just the work
not...
wife. Yeah.
We have been seen together in public, but we're not married. It's purely friendship. No, seriously. My wife and I basically going around historical places in Scotland. We do have a demonstration video that we're going to show probably the next couple of talks. Nothing major, just my wife and I, so you can get to see Ying. You hear what kind of things we're going to talk about, and we're going around in the demonstration video. Yes, Castle. Blackness Castle. Now, Devi, watch Devi's face here. You just go out my front door. You turn right. You get in the car, you drive for about 5 minutes, or you walk for about 25, 30 minutes, if you can keep up with me, and you're at one of the most beautiful historical castles in Scotland.
Huh. I am coming to visit.
So she says. She's been saying that for so long.
I am, but I'm waiting till spring or summer. I'm not coming there in the winter.
Right. Anyway, let's get on. That's the news over. So, what's the purpose of our talk about guides? Right. If you've been to any spiritual church, if you've talked to any spiritual medium, and I'm talking about Scottish spiritual mediums, not those pathetic American mediums like Devi.
Trained by one of those Scottish mediums.
Excluding Devi. But you know what? I'm being sarcastic, mega sarcastic. But basically, if you talk to any spiritual medium, you'll get told, oh, you've got a guide, you've got guides. You may or may not have been lucky enough to actually connect with your guide if you've done any training. But everybody always asks the question, who are my guides? How do I contact them? What do they do? So that's essentially what Devi and I are talking about tonight. So Devi, over to you. What's a guide?
What is a guide? A guide is someone on the other side that guides you, protects you, teaches you things, spiritually helps you. There's all sorts of different kinds of guides.
And that's the generic garbage that you get from the medium.
That was the generic answer.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So here's the real answer, and this is the one that's going to shock you. This is the bit that's controversial. Everybody thinks they die, they're waking up on the other side, they've got angelic wings, they're floating around, and they've got access to infinite wisdom. That may or may not be true, but here's the gut-wrenching reality. You have to work. Don't know how you get paid, don't know how you get rewarded, but I know for a fact. Well, it depends what you mean by money.
Okay.
There are rewards. Let's just keep it simple. You get rewarded.
Rewards. There we go.
Yeah. Whether it's, obviously it's not paper money, it's not electronic Bitcoin, but you do earn a living.
Yes.
What you do with what you earn a living, that's another debate for another time. But You have to be a professional. You have to work. Now, everybody talks about, oh, they've got a guide. Well, here's the next little thing. You don't have a guide, you have 5 guides. Or maybe more, maybe less. And each guide is not sold to you. Each guide will work with 3, 4, 5 people at the same time. Remember, you're angelic and you've got angelic wings. But not all guides are the same. You start off as a beginner, you learn the job, and you improve and you get better. So
just like in real life.
Yeah. So here's the bit that it impacts on you, me, and everybody else. We don't all have the same quality of guides. Look at Debbie's face. What do I mean by that?
Well, some are beginners and some are experienced.
Yes, and some are more powerful. There is a pecking order. Literally. Think of it like a pyramidal pecking order. At the top of that pecking order, there is a very, very small number of, I don't know how many number it is. I've been told by another medium who was very good, very experienced, that there are 6. So I'm just going to take her word for that. I have encountered with one of those 6 before, and trust me, I know the difference between that number, one of those 6 working with you, and one of the, I'm not going to call them run-of-the-mill because these are all nice, experienced guides, but somebody lower down that pecking order. Big difference. And when you work as a medium, the more powerful the guide, the more powerful you appear. Because remember, the guide is working with you and through you. It's not just you. So what is the guide actually doing? Well, the guide opens the door. The guide, as Debbie said, the guide protects you, the guide teaches you. And the other little thing that we've talked about before called synchronicity. Who do you think the guide is that makes the wondrous synchronicity for you?
Yes, of course.
My God, she's agreeing with me.
Woke me up at 3:33 this morning and got me home from the hospital at 3:33 this afternoon.
And here's our friend Patrick. Hello, Patrick.
Hello, Patrick.
And you get rewarded you do here when helping others brings you pride in your work. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Couldn't put it any better. So what do I mean by synchronicity? Well, let me give you an example that happened to me today. So I talked about my wife's work today. It's a podiatry clinic. Now, I finance it. I own the building that the clinic is in. So I kind of think about it as my clinic, but I'm not a podiatrist, so it's my wife's business. So basically, my wife has to pay me rent, but never mind. It's just one of those financial facts of life that you force on the people around you. Anyway, put that aside. We've always had a business plan, and although my wife doesn't know about it, I've always planned for her to open up her second clinic in about another 2 or 3 years. We're in the town of Pennycook, which is south of Edinburgh, and we've got Peebles south of us. Now, the people in Edinburgh and the people in Peebles have a much bigger spending power than the people in Pennycook. Sorry, Pennycook, if you're listening. So, reward, money. We want to go south to Pennycook, Peebles, and we want to go north to Edinburgh, where they can spend more money. So why are we in Pennycook? Well, we've got a monopoly, so we can charge what we want, even if they can't afford us. But put all that aside. I really am a nice person. Okay, anyway, about 4 months ago, we saw a clinic in Edinburgh up for sale at a price that we could afford. And I had just sold some property, so we had the money, and it just matched up how much money I had. So, oh God, right. So I sent an email off to the estate agents who put me in touch with the supposed owner, who never replied. Now, my wife then looked at me and she said, Mark, you realise that there's a much bigger clinic just round the corner. Yeah, so that's why the guy's selling at such a reasonable price. Okay, fine. He never contacted us again, so we never bothered. We never bothered to chase up. Right. And today, whilst I was on the end, whilst I was Googling, as you do when you're sitting in the clinic, I Googled this podiatrist clinic up, and the wrong one came up. It was the one that was literally in the same street with a big announcement. They've just moved a mile away. So all of a sudden, that clinic that we were interested in doesn't have the big clinic next to it. So all of a sudden, my wife's objection to buying that clinic disappeared. So phoned them up. Oh God, yes, love to talk to you. And we've arranged a conference call tomorrow. Now, it may go to nothing. It may all of a sudden open a lot more doors, because if we buy it, the cash flow, and I'm getting too sidetracked, but it'll have a big impact in the business and make me a lot more available for the mediumship training. So on the day that we are getting ready to start doing the adverts, all of that happened. I call that synchronicity.
Yes.
Financial rewards, that's going to open up doors. So that's what your guides can do for you. So any other questions out there?
Goodness. Well, I have to say, one of my guides stepped in and protected me when I slid out on the ice the other day, because that could have been deadly.
Yeah.
I was very lucky.
Yeah. Well, especially when you've got an Audi replacement car.
Yeah, my rental's an Audi.
Yeah.
I'll take it. Take as long as you want to fix my car. That's just fine.
I am going to have to go and strangle my guide, because my guide was under specific instructions that sign that fell on the car was to fall on your head.
Oh, thanks. Well, a sign almost came through the windshield at me, so
He still missed.
You missed.
Yeah.
You missed.
Okay. So there's what guides can do for you. If you're training to be a medium, you will learn how to meet your guides. You'll learn how to communicate with your guides. Your guides are there constantly. They're there helping you all the time. Now, here's another little thing that most people forget about your guides. If you don't know how to open and close, and if you walk around open, your guide will take that as an instruction from you, and he will start guiding spirits to you. That all sounds wonderful, but then you get into all the problems of being open constantly, sleepless nights, getting tired. Think of being open like a metaphor, like a river, and the level of spiritual communication is flat. You build the dam piles the water up the way, and then when you open, the water comes through steady and strong enough to power a gyro, and then you close it, as opposed to being weak all the time. So yes, if you want to walk through life shaking 1,000 hands and never having a conversation that you as a medium can pass on to somebody, open up, be open constantly. If you want to be a professional medium, tell your guide to close the door. Now, how do you do that? Simple techniques. Not going to teach you how to do this because that's not the subject. I'm only giving that as an example of why your guide can mess things up for you, or rather why you can cause your guide to mess things up for you, because you're telling your guide, I'm open for business, and your guide will react. Now, again, that comes back to the level of the guide. An inexperienced guide will do what you want. One of those 6 guys that I talked about earlier will wallop you across the face. And as has happened to me in the past, I'm not saying my guides are one of the 6. I'm just saying I've got powerful guides. And one of those guides will take you by the lapels, will shake you, and will basically teach you to get closed. You get the guide. I think also another thing that most people don't realize, you get the guides you deserve. So if you are not working for spirit properly, let's say, you will either have a good guide that messes you around, or you'll get a guide that doesn't match your potential, if that makes sense.
That makes sense. Can we talk about the different types of guides? Because I know that's something that most people don't know.
Yeah. So I said you can have up to 5 guides. And I said that guides do jobs. Guides are not multidextrous. They specialize. So you've got a doorkeeper. Now that comes back to what I was talking about, being open and closed. That's the guide that stops spirits from bombarding you if you know how to open and close. You've got teaching guides. So, for example, we've got a circle in 11 minutes. We do it free of charge for your first visit. We invite people that watch this, if you want to come along, let us know in the messages. So Sally, do you want to come to the circle? So that's what Sally's saying.
Yes.
So if you want to come to the circle, just say yes, and I'll put the link up so you can join us at 11 o'clock. So getting back to, you've got teaching guides. So they are the people that will teach you how to basically work as a medium, how to live a spiritual life, how to basically anything that you're going to do. I mean, for example, everybody thinks that if you work for spirit, you have to be a medium. Crap. There are people that run churches. There are people that go on missionaries. There are people that are just nice to other people. There are people in business like me that help connect other people in business. For example, somebody put me in touch with this other podiatrist. I'm not going to say who, but there was somebody out there that put the two of us together. So Sally says, thanks, I'm working today, but next time, ta. Okay, well, Sally, we do these streamed events on Wednesdays and, oh God, Sundays, 11 o'clock UK time. I don't know what time you're in, but Eastern time is 5 hours before 11.
So that's 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Central, and so on.
Yeah, we do a newsletter. Go to marcstuartmedium.com. Actually, let me put that up. Hold on.
/newsletter.
Let me just put that up. So the link I've just put up, if you go to that, subscribe to the newsletter, we bring out a newsletter about once a month that gives you the titles and the subject matter of the streamed events that we're doing for about the next 4, 5, 6 weeks. You can find these on Facebook. You can find these in Devi and I's individual blogs, and you can find them on Facebook. We've got about 6 pages between us. Yeah. Just search for Mark Stewart Medium or Devi Wolf Medium, and you'll find them videos. We've been doing these for about 3 months, so there's quite a back catalogue you can work your way through.
Has it been that long? Wow.
Yeah. Some of them are better than others.
Of course.
We do try to. We do the basic gist of it is we try to talk about topics in ways that other mediums sort of don't bother. We take it, but we don't do long. We don't do a 3-hour tuition course. We just give you the bullet points, what you need to know, and then we go away and leave us alone or come to the circle. Okay, so let's get back to what types of mediums.
Yes.
Mediums.
Where were we?
We did. There's healing guides. Now they will obviously tend to work with people that are learning spiritual healing. They'll heal you if you need healing. You've got business. I mean, you've got subdivisions of guides. You've got business guides. You've got medium guide. What do I mean by medium guide? That's somebody that actually would work with a medium, specifically bringing evidential messages or spirit. I mean, for example, you always talk about the right person is guided to the right medium at the right time. I mean, the classic story I tell about that was I was doing some readings in a hotel in Buffalo about 4 or 5 years ago, and people had booked me. So a woman came up, gave her the reading, quite happy with the reading, all of it. We got to the end of it, and I could tell by the look in her face there was something that was just bothering her. So I said, look, we've only got about 3 minutes left. I can see the next person waiting for me. I can tell from the look on your face, this is nothing psychic, that you came here for something specific, and I haven't told you what you needed. And she said to me, well, yes, it's for my husband. Okay, I said, well, given the time, just ask me directly, what is it? And she said, well, we're going to be traveling. My husband is a type 1 diabetic. He's never flown on a plane before in his life. He doesn't know what to do. And I was hoping a spirit would come forward and tell him what to do. So just for dramatic effect, I said, you mean he's got one of these? He said, oh my God, yes, that's exactly what he's got. Now, in case you don't know what that is, that's a syringe.
Yeah.
We call it a pen syringe. Okay, so I put it back in my pocket. And I said to her, well, actually, I'm a type 1 diabetic, and I flew into Toronto airport 2 days ago. She said, oh, God, yes, it's Toronto he's flying out of. We didn't get as far as being on the same flight, but...
That would have been a bit much.
Yeah, but basically, I just... thanks for that, Sally. So basically, I just told her, everything that her husband needed to know about being a type 1 diabetic, getting on a plane. Now, getting back to the point of the story, of all the mediums in all of North America, it was me she came to. She didn't know I was a type 1 diabetic. She was expecting Spirit to give her some celestial message that she could go back to her husband and say, "This Mark the medium said, the Spirit said," and it was Mark the medium that himself was type 1 diabetic. Now, that's a very specific bit of evidence, but that happens to me all the time.
It happened to me in a reading 2 days ago.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
If you're a properly trained spiritual medium, you will have a guide who, I don't really know how to describe them, but you will have a guide that knows how to bring the right people to you for the right readings at the right time. And every good medium has a guide like that. They're helping you by helping you to help other people, so you're earning your brownie points. They're helping you earn a living if you're a professional medium like myself and Debbie, and we're helping the people who are being guided to us for help.
What about animal guides?
Oh, there you are. Look at that.
No.
I'm talking about a flight as a diabetic, and here's somebody watching us specific.
Yes.
If that isn't a case of synchronicity, what is?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Sally, I'm just going to say to you, come to one of our circles, and I guarantee by the end of that circle, you will have received and given a message. And I guarantee it. Not going to guarantee it with my life, but look at the way Debbie reacts. We do it
absolutely.
every time we do it.
Everybody new gives a reading.
And you will, by the time of the end of the 2 hours, you will have given a reading. I promise it. Okay, folks, so we're on a time deadline here. We've got a circle to run in 4 minutes. Anybody here that wants to come, let me just get the link and put that in. Bear with me for 2 seconds. Debbie, talk amongst yourself for a few seconds.
Talk amongst yourselves. Yes, there are also animal guides, which I was trying to say just as we're cutting off here. And I do have a few of those myself. So.
Oh, and I just saved the link. Where did I save it? Hold on.
Oh, no.
No, I've got it. Hold on, people. Don't run away.
Everybody be patient. Be patient. Be patient.
Right, people. So I'm putting it into the chat. If anybody wants to join us tonight, including Debbie, I know you're coming. Just make sure you use this link. And if anybody can't see that link appearing wherever you are, please come back to me or come back to us now with I can't see the link. It's calendly.com/marcstuartmedium/demonstration-training-circle. That's Calendly, CALENDLY.com, diagonal thingamajig, Mark Stewart Medium.
/ demonstration-training-circle.
Okay, folks. Well, as ever, it's been a pleasure.
As
we
always.
are off to run our circle.
And we will see you on Sunday.
Next one on Sunday. So, good night.